Hello everybody. Today we're going to be looking at MR2s, specifically budget MR2s. Matt has an MR2, like me. Matt's MR2 is a Rev 2, so it's the generation before my one, although my one has the bits off it off a the Rev 1. So mine's now called Franken 2.
Yes.
Does yours have a name?
No, it just gets called Mr. 2 most of the time, to be brutally honest.
Mr. 2.
Mr. 2.
Mr. 2 and the Franken 2.
Yep.
I like that. And your MR2, how much did you pay to purchase it?
£700 in total, off of eBay. Placed a minimum bid on an auction. Never went above that minimum bid. Got myself an MR2.
You got ripped off. £300.
What about the other one?
That was £600.
So in total,
Still under £1,000.
that's a good point.
That one is quite a lot of the other one, which that's mostly fine. So why an MR2? What's been the desire behind the MR2? For me, I've just thought the shape was cool and I love pop-ups, and I kind of became aware of the car and just went, that's amazing. How is it that little money?
I don't know. I think for me, it's one of the cheapest classic Japanese sports cars you can really get into nowadays, which isn't an MX-5 basically. And even then, the prices are starting to go up both for MR2s and MX-5s now. Because
I was looking at an MX-5 before I bought an MR2, but finding one that isn't rotten, and you don't look at, I appreciate that our cars both need work, but the MX-5s need so much work now.
Yeah, I think a lot of them have, it's kind of a cult classic car in a way. Same way the MR2's going, but I think it's just the thing of they've been much more popular for a lot longer, and people have now really started to value the good ones which are actually left.
Now, I wouldn't ever say that the MX-5 is bad, because they're really cool, and I know that people who have them have an awful lot of fun in them. But I'm so glad I bought an MR2, because it's so much cooler.
Yeah, it's still a car which actually has like an element of rarity. They were sold in the UK. Both of ours are UK models, but I see maybe like one or two other MR2s per month, and MX-5s you'll see half a dozen a week.
It's got a certain kind of status.
Exoticness.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a bit more of rarity to an X2. And MX2, I've combined two cars there.
Might be quite nice.
The MR2 has a certain more rarity to it. Now, we both think that our cars are actually quite good. Or at least, for what we paid, we think our cars are quite good. Our friend Trev doesn't agree. No. Faded. No. Fake. No. Mismatched. No. Faded. No. Bodge. Rust. Hand painted. No. No. What? No. Mismatched. No. Really? No. 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 Just no. Definitely not. Thanks, Trev. That's great.
Most of it's just superficial, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like, who needs a chassis anyway?
The rust is it's not entirely structural. It's just partially structural.
It's not a good. Hey, my car's got a bit of rust. Oh, anyway, serious? It's just a little bit on the structure.
I got those bits welded.
And yours is probably more healthy than mine, because mine makes a nasty noise.
Yeah, but mine has also had a lot more than the £700 I initially spent put into it at this point. Which
Do you want to think about that, or does that hurt?
it doesn't hurt when I compare, because it's had new suspension, it's had a couple of things done on the brakes, new alternator, the cam cover gasket that had to be replaced too, and it sounds like a lot when you put it in numbers, but I mean, these are 25-year-old cars. They're not going to be perfect. You buy any car, and I'd be glad to see it only had this amount of problems.
That's true. What's the mileage of yours? Because mine's on 210,800, I think.
It's about 120, I think, on mine. But
Oh, yours is barely run in.
I know, it's Toyota. It's got another 3 times that in it.
Mine's getting close, believe me. Mine's getting close.
Yeah, engine might need a little bit of work.
Yeah, so does mine. So part of the desire and the joy of having an MR2, as well as the fact it looks cool, and there's a club and pop-ups. Pop-ups give you access to this exclusive club of other pop-up drivers. So MX-5s, other MR2s, some Porsches,
Lotuses, definitely.
some Lotuses. Drive along, you see one, you get the eye, and a whoop, whoop,
And
flash.
9 times out of 10 you get a response.
It's great. It's really cool. And you drive away feeling really happy. I've tried to set this kind of thing up with other 106 drivers. Drive past and do the wave. Nobody waves back.
Doesn't do it.
Nobody waves back. It's really upsetting.
To be honest, it's kind of nice as well, as weird as it sounds. Like I used to drive a motorbike before I had my MR2, and always see another motorbike, you give them a little wave, and you kind of get a little bit of that back in the MR2. You just don't get it in a lot of cars.
No, but I guess you do get it in the more classic car fraternity, don't you? When
Yeah,
you're driving a classic or something that's a bit rarer. I mean, I know from driving the Lotus around, you see another Lotus owner, you get a big wave. That's always quite nice.
Yeah, and the best part about owning an MR2, you get the classic guys wave, you get the people with pop-ups waves, and you get the JDM crowd wave. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, genuinely, it's out of all the cars I've driven, it gets more looks, possibly because it's multicoloured.
You say that, but I genuinely believe that, like, unless you're spending five figures on a car, you're not going to get something which just looks this just unique and impressive. It has a presence which no other car for £700 is ever going to have.
And I think that's the point. I mean, for the looks and the performance of the car, you're paying a lot more money to get something that gives you that same feeling and has those same looks. Like, for instance, the Avora 400 that JM used to own. That was a stunning piece of kit. But it cost like 50 times more than I paid for this one. Or more than that. I can't even work it on the fly. It cost many times more. And it was maybe 10 times better than an MR2. But it's not like 50 times better than an MR2. It's just, I take the MR2 and have the cash in the pocket.
Exactly. I mean, then you can just fix that MR2 you've just bought.
I was going to say, I need to use all that money to fix the MR2.
But even a pristine example of an MR2, as long as you look at a naturally aspirated one, you're not going to be spending more than £2,000-3,000 for a beautiful example of a car.
They are going up though. I mean, and if you have a turbo, then it jumps a bit as well.
Oh yeah, you're looking at 7.8 for a good turbo. I didn't. I actually found one for £1,300 up near Manchester.
Yeah, you showed me this. We had to talk Matt out from going and doing what me and JM have done and buying a car unseen. It sounded very good in the advert, apart from has sat in a garden outside for 3 years.
Yeah, but he has actually fixed it. The couple of little issues he had, he fixed it before it eventually sold to someone else.
There'll be no chassis. There'll be nothing. It will be held together by the bodywork. So part of the joy of having a car like this is the fact that you can do a lot of it yourself. So what have you done on yours?
Like I was saying earlier, so I've had to replace suspension, I've rebuilt my front brakes, I had to do my cam cover gasket, I've changed alternators, various niggly wiring things, as the wiring in this car is best left uninvestigated for the most part.
I feel that way about the audio system on mine.
Exactly.
There's a load of cables that are all the same colour, and I looked at it and just went, professional. Someone else can deal with that.
Exactly. And I really don't think I could have done that on anything really newer than this era of car.
No, well, it's true, because most modern cars, especially something you buy or you have on finance, it's far too complicated. You need like a degree in computer engineering. Whereas this is mostly, you can follow a lot of it and work it out, can't you? By just following stuff along and go, well, this must be this. Therefore, if I do this, it will probably work.
Yeah, and there's some fantastic resources out there online. Like I can't give enough props to both the MR2 owner clubs, which I'm part of. They make it so easy and they're so knowledgeable on that subject that you can just literally go online and go, my car's not running, what the hell is wrong with it? And they're there to help you.
That's good. I probably should join the MR2 club.
Yes.
So would you recommend to everybody out there buying, if not an MR2, but something that's a fixer-upper?
I would say yes, and kind of with the caveat that you're willing to do the work yourself. I mean, I dread to think how much everything I've done on this car would have cost if I was paying someone £50 an hour to sort it out for me.
I've replaced the whole inside of mine, so a lot of the back end. I lost like 15 days just fiddling with stuff. I hate to think the cost of sorting mine out, and mine's still not sorted. But I guess it's part of the joy, isn't it, having a project of something that you can sort out, and when you've got it and done, you're like, that's mine and I did it.
Exactly, and I think one other thing is it might only cost £700 and I might have dumped that again into it to keep it on the road, but...
I keep telling yourself that because I know I've dumped a lot more than that into mine.
If you ever ask someone, how much do you think this car's worth, you're not going to get the answer £700?
No, that's true. People always think that they're worth more than that because they look more than that.
Yes.
Now, what do you think about, performance-wise, what do you think of the MR2? Would you say there's anything better, or where would you rate it on your scale of Peugeot 106?
Yep.
No, actually, Peugeot 106 is somewhere. Micra.
Yep.
Micra.
Good starting point.
Porsche. Lotus. Porsche's actually probably Porsche, Lotus. I've got a bad scale. Because Nissan being low, we'll say Lotus being at the top.
It's definitely up there. One of the things you do notice about an MR2, it is an older car. The engine is not some crazy high revving Civic K20 or anything.
But when you get it up, I mean, it only goes to, what, 7k?
7,000, yeah.
But that last between 6 and 7
gets very rowdy.
And you feel it. As it comes up to about 5.5 into 7, it just goes...
And to be brutally honest, even with that, 0 to 60 times mean nothing. You look online and you see about 8-9 seconds, I think, which is
It feels
pretty
faster.
decent.
It feels faster.
A, it feels faster, and B, I think it's just part of having the mid-engine rear-wheel drive. It can carry that speed through a corner, and I've been on so many...
to a degree, it does. It carries that speed through a corner until it's like, whoop!
It can carry that speed directly through a corner too.
Yes, it can.
But if ever you're out on the road and you get something like an M3 or something in front of you and you're having a bit of fun with them, they'll start pulling away from you in the straights. And I'm not a very good driver. I've not been driving for very long, but I catch them in the corners pretty much every time.
Bearing in mind that you only do, go up to 60 miles an hour on the single carriageways.
Of course.
At all times.
Yes.
Making a bit of legal fun. Legal
Exactly.
fun, yes. So on my car at the moment, the exhaust has got a horrible drone when you take your foot off the gas, and it basically needs a repaint, and the sills need looking at, and I want to get the wheels refurbed. Apart from that, mine's okay. It's like with bodywork being one massive canvas that covers a lot of floors. What does yours need?
Honestly, bodywork is that giant canvas on mine as well. I mean, it could really do with a repaint. It's a red car. It's faded. It's been sat out in the sun for 25 years.
I mean, I'm looking at it here, and you've got a lovely two-tone effect between your bumper.
Oh, the plastic bumper and then the metal bonnet. Yeah, it's lovely.
That's almost as bad as my replacement door from a totally different car with totally different paint. Genuinely, it's that kind of level.
Yeah.
Is that actually original, or is one of those a replacement, or is that just how bad it's faded?
Look, they are both original. It's just that is how bad the paint on the metal has faded on it. If I put about 7 layers of wax on it, it starts to look all right. But I think for now it will be get it nicely valeted, get a machine polish, get that paint looking good, and then from there it's just going to be a case of patching things up, patching rust, a couple of replacement body panels maybe, and hopefully keep driving it for another few years.
See, I need a new front lip on mine because that's got that just there, quite major crack.
I mean, luckily the seat is covering up the problem on my front lip.
Would you trade the MR2 for something else? What would someone have to bring you for you to say, yeah, I'll let it go? Because I think, especially having done so much of this myself, like the old one, I might have been tempted if someone had come along and say, traded the Aurora for it. I'd be like, yeah, okay. But because I've done so much to mine, I don't think I would. Like someone could come along with, I don't know, a McLaren or a Bugatti Veyron or a McLaren F1 or something really bonkers. And I'd be like, yeah, it's nice and all, but I love my 2.
I really don't know what would make me give up my MR2. There's a lot of things out there which is like, I really want to own this car. This is something I really want. But I think for just an everyday car, which I don't think they're as deadly as people think in the wet and in the snow.
No, they're fine. Yeah. It's like anything, isn't it? If you drive it carefully and sensibly, you'll probably be fine.
Exactly.
Did you have, with yours, have you had any issues? Because there's a bit of a preconceived idea that MR2s break down.
Is there?
Have you not seen it? There's a thing on quite a few of the groups that MR2s die. They're like, oh, mine's died now.
I've literally never encountered this before. I did have one point where the MR2 died and was towed out of a ditch by Heroic Micro. But that wound up being...
It died and ended up in a ditch.
Not in a ditch, but in a very bumpy lay-by. We'll call it that.
So it's like, you can't call it if it died in a ditch if it can't reach the wheels anymore.
Well, no, parts in a lay-by, and crazy thing about this car, the fuel gauge works perfectly fine, but you have to remember that the fuel gauge, when it says 3/4 of tank, it means you've got a full tank. When it says 1/4 of tank, it actually means you've got an empty tank.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and go, that means it's not working.
Yes, but in between that, it's very accurate. I just need to change the numbering. Just change the scale and it'll be good.
That's not a fix. That's... I think that though shows a good part of the MR2 kind of attitude of, it kind of works and it's enough to get by.
I think these are just niggly wiring issues you're always going to get with
an older car. Again, this is one of the things that I don't think a lot of people appreciate with them, is they are, in fact, older cars, because they don't look so much like an older car.
No, they don't look the 26 years old my car is, and I imagine yours is about 24, 23?
Yeah, I think mine's 93. Is mine's 93? I think mine's 93.
Rev 3, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think 93 was mine.
Yeah, 93 or 94, yeah.
Yeah. Are they... Well, mine's had a hard life, but it's worn that quite well, and there's a lot of other cars that are at the same age, well, they wouldn't even still be here.
Well, exactly, and like I say, a lot of things I've replaced on it, like my suspension and stuff, it's 6 former owners, and it's probably never been changed in that entire time. It's just a case of your suspension is gone through 120,000 miles. It's going to need replacing eventually.
Well, that's not anything to do with the car, is it? That's just more general wear and tear.
And I think maybe they do get that bad reputation from them just being older cars and people expecting, oh, it's Toyota, I can just jump in it and drive it forever, it'll never break.
It doesn't break. It's fine.
It doesn't break all the time.
So obviously we're fully taken with the MR2. We love the way they drive, the way they look, because they do drive remarkably well, don't they?
Fantastically.
Yeah, they're fun, and it's a car that really puts that smile on your face. And it's a car that you don't actually need to do anything with or push it particularly hard to just be like, this is great, and I really enjoy being in it. And also remarkably practical for a sports car.
I mean, you've got 2 boots, which is twice as many boots as something like an MX-5 has.
Precisely. And it's twice as many boots as, well, actually, almost anything out there. And you can actually use it for daily life. You can take it away. I've gone on holiday with mine with my ex.
Mine gets me to work and back every single day.
Well, you actually properly daily yours.
Yeah.
I've never properly dailied that. I've just taken it away. But you can fit bags in the back.
Yep.
And you can put your coats and everything in the front. Mm-hmm. And they're quite spacious. In fact, they're pretty good all round. And I suppose that's the main thing. The MR2 is actually pretty good all round. It's a really good car. And it's probably, well...
I'd say it's the last budget performance hero out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get a really, really nice M3 anymore. I know at one point they were getting pretty low. MX-5s, again, prices starting to climb. I don't know, I think if you want a cheap performance car, which is you're still able to daily, I think you can't go wrong with an MR2.
I think that's right. I mean, we'd always say, get one, because we love them. But it's worth saying that they're not as common as they once were, and there's becoming a much bigger divide between the ones which are affordable and the ones which are actually any good. And if you do buy one like we have, it's going to need a lot of work. But you know what?
Oh, it's worth it.
It's totally worth it. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Yeah. I'll do.
That'll do.
These seats are horrible.
They are horrible, aren't they?